So what happens when the GOP can't get together and decide on a speaker? Does that mean it will be the death for the GOP agenda of secure borders and energy independence? Is there a plan B if McCarthy doesn't make it? Right now, it doesn't seem so. Will the GOP agenda fall apart before it starts? Let's ask Florida Congressman Byron Donalds, who joins me now. So, Congressman, we've got at least 5 Republicans in the House who are in the never McCarthy camp. We have 15 Republicans today who sent a letter who are from Biden districts that Biden won, saying they will only vote for Kevin McCarthy. And we're 5 days away from the next Congress. So what's going on?
Well, actually, what's happening now is there's a real discussion about how Republicans, one, are going to organize, and two, how we're going to lead and what does Congress actually look like. We all know the portions of the agenda that must be solved, the border, the investigations. We all get that. But one of the key issues we have in America is that Congress is fundamentally broken. And the reason it's fundamentally broken is because too much power resides in the hands of the Speaker of the House. That's not an anti-Kevin McCarthy statement. That's a reality of what happens in Washington, D.C. So there are members who want to see a devolving of that power in the Speaker's office into the hands of the members. So the members who are elected by their constituency actually have the ability to do the job they were sent to Washington to do. One of the issues about our southern border, the reason why it's such a catastrophe, is because Congress has abdicated their authority through the budget process and given it all to the president. The omnibus package that just passed a week ago, in that bill, Congress is now precluded until next September to do something about it. So what certain members want to see are rules changes, which in my view are legitimate rules changes. So we have a bottom-up process in the House of Representatives so the business of the American people can actually be done in a constitutional and appropriate way.
So it sounds like getting power out of the Speaker's office down to the committee chairs is a bargaining chip for people to get behind Leader McCarthy. But what about the other side of it? Some Republicans arguing that if you don't get behind Kevin McCarthy's speakership, you're actually giving Democrats an opportunity to gain even more power than they have today, but especially with that slim majority for Republicans.
I don't really get too much into that. That's all, that's puff talk. At the end of the day, Republicans are going to get together. We're going to pick a speaker. The leader in the clubhouse is Kevin McCarthy. Make no mistakes about that. He's the leader in the clubhouse, but you got to close that deal. I do not believe that there are Republicans in our conference, whether they're moderate Republicans or conservative Republicans, that are going to cede power to the Democrats. The other thing to keep note of, last Congress, Nancy Pelosi was down 32 votes before the speaker vote was taken, and she closed that deal. I anticipate Kevin McCarthy is going to close the deal. But for Republicans to say that, we're going to give power to the Democrats, that's just not going to happen. I don't see that happening at all.
So are you voting for Kevin McCarthy, or do you have another candidate?
No, I'm going to vote for him. But at the same time, what I want to see is a speaker who lets the members actually work, run bills, work with the appropriating committees and the committee chairs to have a bottom-up process. That is the way Congress should be functioning and should work. What I witnessed my first 2 years in Congress was Nancy Pelosi pushed every bill out of her office. It wound up on the floor. The members were called in to vote yes or no. That is not legislating. That is not the way the People's House is supposed to work. They can do whatever they want in the Senate, but the House of Representatives is the people's body, and it needs to operate accordingly.
Well, we'll see if those McCarthy holdouts will take that as a valid argument to vote for him to get him across the finish line. Congressman Byron Donalds will be watching on Tuesday. Good to see you.
Anytime.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.